Don't want to see any fights and all this stuff in your 2 plays.
First play. It was the second play. Yeah, that's I think that's part of it. But overall, I thought the work was very good, and I think if you clearly see what we were able to accomplish, with the Hall of Fame game, and then coming here 48 hours later, so this will be great tape for us. I like where we are in the training camp process. We were able to spread the reps around the whole team, as healthy as we could, as far as being cognizant of how much guys played against Pittsburgh and how much they practiced today. So I'm looking forward to watching the tape.
Didn't practice today. Do you have any update there?
Yeah, Dalton was excused for personal reasons. Yes.
Having a rush. It seemed like you had a pretty good view of the skirmish between Aaron Donald and Connor Williams. You think Connor did?
Well, I don't know if it's a matter of one doing the other. I just think it's it's part of it. They locked up, and I didn't see the initial why. But yeah, I don't play too much in. I think the most important thing is how everybody reacted. We were able to get it under control and get back to practice. Because obviously that's why the Rams came here, and that's why we agreed to do the practice. We both wanted quality work, and I think we definitely accomplished that today.
You don't like the fights, but did you like the feistiness that your team showed out there, regardless of?
Well, you like fight in your football team, but you don't want fighting because of the discipline of what it does. It's not part of the game, and so you definitely want the fight and the edge and the discipline of being on the edge. But also we're still in a practice structure. I think as you see in these types of environments, one team's not used to practicing against the other, for obvious reasons, and it particularly happens at the end of plays. I mean, that's usually when this stuff happens, and I think that's normal. I think if you went around the league, I don't think our practice would look any different than others.
Cooper didn't participate today. Is it his back again or something else?
Cooper has a shoulder that he's going to need a couple of days from the Pittsburgh game.
Mike, did not having Dak in there, being able to do anything, take anything away from what you wanted to be able to accomplish?
Well, I mean, team-wise, no. I mean, we were able to, hit all the situations. You saw the structure of the practice. I think, the fact that us practicing so close to the Pittsburgh game, I'm going to speak on behalf of Sean, but, where they were in their practice, structure, we actually did cut the practice back a little bit just because of the numbers. And that was something that we both agreed on. So, yeah, I felt really good about hitting the situations. But really, this is something I hope long term we could do a lot more of. I mean, obviously, being it's so convenient to work against one another. It's a safer environment than playing in a game, and you can get a lot done. Particularly getting through every situation because we cut out 2 minute. We had two 2-minute drills that we took out, and I think it was we had another special teams period that we eliminated. So, but that was just more because of the stress of where we both were on our schedule.
I get that you have everything on tape anyway, but when you have 2 practices basically happening simultaneously, how do you prioritize what you want to get your eyes on?
Well, it's just really about the thing I wanted was the practice to go the right way. I wasn't as worried about what I wanted to see. I just wanted to make sure the structure was rolling. I know with just with our offense, particularly the play entry and the way we go about it, I just anticipated we may be a little faster than the other field. So that was part of the reason. Just make sure the periods are rolling through. But it's you want to see the communication, particularly the quarterback and the O-line. So that's why I stayed on the offensive field.
CeeDee Lamb seemed to have a really nice day. Does he just sort of elevate his game when you put him in closer to live situations?
I think that's that's fair to say so far. I mean, it's I think it's really something you look for in all your young players. I mean, to me, preseason's about development of your roster, and the fact that we were able to play our young guys a whole half or more, and then they took probably 35% of the reps today. So this is we improved as a football team last 48 hours, and that's what I'm excited about.
This is the first time we've seen Connor Williams get some first-team reps at center. I mean, just a few of them. What dictated that progression?
Well, I mean, I think it's obvious. I mean, it's part of your second center definitely needs some time with the ones. I mean, it's something that you're always working. So, yeah, I wouldn't get caught up in the combinations. I think the biggest thing is when you're talking about the first group is who's going to be the 8th lineman and 9th lineman and those types of things. So you got to make sure you're giving those those opportunities, enough reps to make those decisions. And frankly, particularly as we get into probably next week against Arizona and then the fourth game against Jacksonville, it's those young guys that I'm really is my primary focus.
You consider your starting five up front on the O-line set, Biotish at center?
We're still working through it. I feel good about the way those guys work. I've told you this time and time again, I don't think we really need to get caught up on the reps. I think some of them were obvious. I really like the development and the progress both corners have made. Connor McGovern obviously playing the guard position. Now he's getting work both at the right and left side. I thought at the end of the year he was probably playing our best up front. It's great to have Tyron and Zach back and have LC back, so getting those guys working together. So and Connor, he needs live center reps. So just getting all those different combinations is so important. Yeah, you'd like to line up and play with five the whole year, and if you look at the analytics on that, starting five offensive linemen that play 16 games equates to a high win total. I mean, that's what the history of this league will tell you. But that's not most teams. That's not the case. So we got to make sure we get as many combinations as we can. We get those guys repped.
Because of what you went through the last 48 hours, will you alter your schedule going into the race?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Players are off tomorrow, and then Monday we'll just frankly we'll have a big weight room, full team will lift. Then we'll do a state program segment for 2 hours, and then we're going to go back and we're going to treat the Pittsburgh and the Ram video exactly the same. So the evening will be all about corrections of both Pittsburgh and the Rams. So we'll put that together. So that'll be Monday night, and then Tuesday. We've eliminated the practice on Tuesday. We're going to do mock game work only. So Tuesday morning, we'll have a kind of a in-season Wednesday schedule where we'll install normal down and distance third down, and then we'll take that to a mock game, and the players will be done by 1 o'clock. So these next 3 days are about corrections meeting, getting things set for Arizona. But it's important for these guys to get their bodies back in shape, where they need to be. So they definitely deserve this break.
CD, you see the big plays, the flashy plays. How much do you guys get on him about the boring or the mundane stuff? That he's on top of that stuff as well. Just right depth, right, all that.
Yeah, I mean that's coaching, that's playing, it's all done the same. So just it's no different when you grade a quarterback. If his feet aren't right, and he throws a great throw, he makes a great throw, you still give him a minus footwork. I mean it's if you're going to track fundamentals and try to improve the fundamentals of any position, all the way through the football team, the result doesn't change the teaching of, where their feet are supposed to be and the depth of the route, all those things. So, I mean, you can make a great catch and turn around and spin out of it and run 60 yards for a touchdown, but, if you get it still is a minus route. I mean, that's the only way you get it right. So, I mean, that's part of our grading system.
How is he with that stuff? How is CD with the?
CD's having a very consistent camp. Yeah, he's definitely. Time clocks are very important between the quarterbacks and the perimeter group. And I think more importantly, the things we struggled with early in camp was our cadence. We had too much cadence variance as far as everything needs to be tied to your starter. And we've done a much better job of that. So, but the perimeter part of it, the depths and the angles of the routes, I think we're doing a nice job of it.
Speaking of CD, just his progress. I mean, we see receivers take that jump in the second year so many times. How much have you seen his confidence grow to just kind of understanding how to be an NFL wide receiver?
Well, it's definitely taking a jump. I mean, I would definitely classify him as a confident rookie, but there was definitely times during the year that when he hit some spots that he had to pull himself out of. I think that's very normal for any rookie to go through that, especially someone as high profile as your first round pick at the Dallas Cowboys. So I definitely grew from that experience. And if you've been at all the practices, you see the consistency that he's put forth. I don't think there's been a day where he hasn't made a big play. So he's been very consistent this camp.
Very mindful throughout training camp of just the load on guys' bodies, be it canceling the practices or just Tuesday practice or monitoring GPS. Was there ever a time early in your coaching career where that was something that maybe wasn't as much of a priority, but kind of learned over time, or has it just always been your style?
Absolutely. My first year in the league, first year as a head coach, 2006. I ran my team right into the dirt. We played a preseason game in Cincinnati, and I think we went about I forget what it was, something outrageous, 10 days or so where they didn't really have a break on their legs, and we caught a hot night at Cincinnati, and the whole team. I mean, you could see it at halftime, but we didn't have any legs. We were tapped out. So I mean, you learn from those experiences. Didn't have GPS to kind of check yourself a little bit back then, but we started using GPS. Some time before it became popular, we used it just more to collect data. Whether it was 20 guys and then went to 30 guys, because we took let's learn about this first before we really try to figure out how to exactly use it. So I've been using it for quite some time. It's a good tool. It's a good way to check yourself. But at the end of the day, we have a lot of qualified people here with a lot of experience. I mean, you look at the experience level of our training staff. I mean, we got the strength and conditioning staff. I love the way they connected with our players. They give good feedback. You got to listen to your people. I use the term bartenders. My dad owned a bar, but just the guys that work on that first floor that interact with the players more than anybody. Your equipment manager, his guys, training staff, strength and conditioning staff, the nutrition staff. And we have some football ops guys that work closely with our players. You got to collect that information, and at the end of the day, I think a big part of being a head coach, you got to develop filters and decide what you're going to use and what you're not going to use. So that's the way I've always done it.
Will that go into the decision to pull back from Tuesday's practice, or is that?
I just gave you the formula. Yeah, equals pull back from practice. Yeah, just messing with you, Mike. It's been a long week. Yeah.
Coaching staff that goes to you and says, Mike, you got to pull him back, or Mike, let's push them a little bit. Is anybody on the staff that helps?
Depends who it is. I mean, everybody has tendencies. I think like anything in this game, you're always evaluating. And yeah, I mean, I know I have tendencies too, and I know I've made enough mistakes early in my career. I mean, I think we all do in all of our professions. We remember the things we maybe could have done better. So yeah, I'm very cognizant of that. But I think at the end of the day, you need to listen to your people. But that doesn't ultimately mean that's going to be the final decision. So and I feel everybody gets that. I mean, that's responsible. Every head coach, every responsibility every coach has to go through, and you got to make those decisions, and you learn from them, and because at the end of the day, it's all about the team moving forward, making progress, and this football team's making progress through training camp. You can see we're getting better. You still got a ways to go, and this is why you go to training camp. This is why you have training camp. So, but I like where we are so far.
Update on Basham following his exit.
I'm sorry?
An update on Basham following his exit.
Yeah, I saw him right afterwards. I mean, he has an ankle sprain, but I can't give you a timeline or anything. So.
With Dak, do you have an update on him and with
Dak? Making a lot of progress. Definitely him staying back, was able to get some extra treatment, do some extra things. So he's doing. Once again, this is more us than him. This is us being cautious. So I feel really good about where he is.
Practice Tuesday, do you maybe Wednesday for him, or just wait till you get back to?
Just see how his progression goes. He's doing some things. As far as the throwing, and so everything's on a rep count. So just see how he progresses.
He's done some throwing.
He's done some throwing. Yeah, light throwing, light objects.
Speaking of Dak, Cowboy who's received as much scrutiny as Jaylon Smith since you've been here. Do you think that's ever affected the way you prepare, practice, play?
I don't see that. I mean, the Jaylon Smith, and I've told Jaylon this too. I've been blessed to be in this league a long time. I've been able to sit in the, sit in those interview rooms at the combine, and you have young men that come out of college and they go through an interview, and he's clearly my top 4 interviews that I've ever sat through when he came out of Notre Dame. So I was excited to work with him, and he's been that guy every day. I mean, this guy brings it every single day. I mean, he practices extremely hard, plays the game the right way. So I can't really comment on the criticisms, the why, or but he's been a true professional in my time with Jaylon.
Speaking of Dak, even though he's not practicing, he's clearly very engaged. How does his presence at a joint practice like this influence the offense?
Well, I think it's all part of the fabric of who we are as a football team. I mean, he's our leader. He's the guy that's he's involved in everything. So yeah, his presence is very important, and obviously it's different when he's in the huddle. But yeah, having Dak here and as involved in it is, I mean, I just think it's a reflection of who he is and the way he goes about his business, because he goes about that in everything he does. That's how the meetings are. You know, he's just really engaged, really in tune. You know, he's all about getting better, you know, regardless of what he's working on. So, but yeah, it's important to have him out here.
Help build the confidence of the rest of the offense, just knowing that he's engaging with them since they don't get the chance to have the reps with him right now?
I think it's all about building continuity for what's moving forward. I mean, but also the other side of it, I think the other quarterbacks benefit from it because, you know, that group is really, you know, that's a very tight-knit group. That room is so important because really it's a big part of how efficient your offense can be. You know, it's one thing to have success, but continued success is the hardest thing to accomplish in this league, and especially for an offense, it has to, you know, a big part of that comes from that quarterback room. So yeah, he's a huge part of our success.
Mike, have
that we're going to have.
Have you and your team got used to the extra cameras around in this camp?
I don't know. I mean, I think the players do a great job with it. I mean, personally, it's different, you know. So, but yeah, it's just part of our environment this year.
Did you expect Maurice Kennedy to be the playmaker he has been here? He had another great play here.
I tell you, I didn't know that his ball skills were this good. I mean, actually a heck of a football player. We obviously, you know, loved him when we were able to sign him. You know, didn't have him through the pandemic, but my goodness, just the way he tracks the football, I've been so impressed with him. He's having an excellent camp, but ball skills are much better than I was aware of.
Did you get an update on Gallimore?
No, I didn't. I heard about the injury, but I did not see him before I came out.
Thanks, Coach.
Good. All right. Thank you.